Hi everyone. So I found this article yesterday in my local paper called Estrogen in Ocean Concerns Researcher. Anyway, what it's talking about is this young researcher. He's been involved in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. And he's interested in what effects estrogen has in seawater here off the northeast coast of America. In 2001, they did a study where they added a minuscule amount of estrogen into a lake in Ontario to see what effects it would have on the life there. And it led to a population collapse of a specific kind of minnow, so they know that this is parts per trillion levels, 1 nanogram per meter, was having a biological impact. So they want to see what kinds of impact estrogen has on water. So this young man, his name is David Griffith, what he's doing right now is developing a filter that mimics shapes that estrogen would stick would prefer to be with instead of being in the water, so therefore it pulls it out of the water. One thing is that the ocean water in the winter, when there's storms and the water's cooler, the water's churning, but in the summer, evidently the top layer gets really hot and things stay underneath the top level of water when it's calmer and the water's warmed up. So he's developing this filter to measure estrogen in the sea water to see if what kinds of impact it has, because of the estrogen levels in women and men evidently produce estrogen. It's a very strong, very strong, one of the strongest, most potent hormones that humans have. So he's developing this because there's an outfall pipe, and evidently quite a few cities along the ocean do this. There's an outfall pipe 9.5 miles out from Boston. Oh, I got it right. And the outfall pipe is 24 feet wide. And what's flowing out of it into the ocean off of Boston is the sewage of the city of Boston. So this whole study is to see what effects all this estrogen has on the seawater, using a filter to pull out the estrogen from the water, and interestingly enough, use alcohol as the solvent that then takes the estrogen stuck on this filter off of the filter, and so they can measure how much is in there. And one of the things that they know happens, another indicator of a change in the biology of the environment, is when these biological creatures are exposed, have too much estrogen, they start producing a chemical called vitellogenin, which is what females give off or display when they are in the production, they're producing eggs. So anyway, this study is being done. It says here, we hope to collaborate with the Hydrological Center of Massachusetts Institute of Technology and toxicologists to help us understand what levels we might be concerned about. Got a 24-foot wide outfall pipe, 9.5 miles off of Boston, where all the effluence of humans is being dumped. And they're measuring the estrogen levels to see how much is in it, because they now understand in parts per trillion what levels will affect certain biological entities. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about, and this is what's happening with our sewage. Actually, we don't know what our sewage is doing. So I just wanted to talk about that there are these studies going on to measure what we're doing to this earth, but I'm actually wondering, well, what if they complete this study and they have this filter, nano filter, developed that tells us how much estrogen is in the water, and then they go and they really look at the effects of what this estrogen is doing. What will happen next? Will they stop the outflow pipe? Will they do another sewage treatment, an additional sewage treatment to the sewage before it goes out the outflow pipe? And there's probably a lot of things in that sewage, all the chemicals treated to maybe clean up the sewage before it goes out the outflow pipe. I mean, is that what is best for all, to dump all that sewage into the ocean like that? Isn't there another way to potentially treat the sewage in such a way that it could be beneficial? It could be turned into something that helps the earth, instead of just something that is dumped out in the ocean off of Boston that needs to be studied to see what the effects of this are. And it just all seems backwards. And maybe people living in concentrated areas along a seacoast is not really the answer. I mean, maybe the whole way that our society is set up, we set everything up for convenience, to make money, and then we develop systems to deal with the scenario without even going back and really looking at how we've organized ourselves to create these problems that then need to be studied to see the effects on the environment. Yeah, it really all seems backwards. Really have to go all the way back and really look at everything we're doing. And to do this, you can't have a profit-based system. You have to divide everything equally and really consider life first. This is just one way of showing how a profit-based system functions. It looks at things after the fact. After some solution has been developed, then you go back and you study what the problems are of that solution that didn't really consider everything as life in the first place. So this whole profit-based system it doesn't work. It doesn't consider everything. It doesn't consider life. Life has to be considered first. I mean, it's so obvious that that's what has to be done. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that local article in the paper. Thank you.